Welcome to Upticks with Jake Falcon, founder and CEO of Falcon Wealth Advisors. In this podcast, we help high net worth individuals overcome financial complexities. We do this by enhancing financial literacy and discussing topics in a language free from industry jargon. Join us as we help explain exactly what having a solid financial plan means, as Jake draws from years of experience in helping hundreds of individuals get financially organized and focused on their goals. We hope you find Upticks educational, entertaining, and shareable. Now, on to the show.
Welcome back to the show. This is episode 212. Why is money important to you? Do you like that intro there, Cory? To you.
That was good.
Welcome back on the show. I know we got a choppy internet connection. I don't know why. We're 20 feet away from each other, but hey, using the same internet signal, but that's where we're at. So tell me about Greece, Cory. Let me hear about it.
Greece was fantastic. Cassie and I spent some time. We spent some time in Athens, on Mykonos, and Santorini, two of the islands. We got back about a week ago, and the whole trip was amazing. I know that you've been to two of those places, but great weather. Athens was fantastic to see the Acropolis. That was kind of mind-blowing, just, getting my mind all the way around, how old and the history that was there. I really enjoyed that part of the trip. And then, of course, it's hard to beat the islands.
Did you drink any ouzo?
I did not.
You didn't drink any ouzo while you were over there? Shame on you, Cory.
Cassie and I talked about it a lot, but no, neither of us really like it.
But you haven't had authentic Greece ouzo.
I guess I'll have to go back.
Well, so was the Acropolis in the highlight? What was the highlight of the trip? What do you think the best part was for our clients that have been to Greece or haven't?
The Acropolis was one of them. I don't think it was the highlight, though. What probably was the highlight, on Santorini for a day, for 24 hours, Cassie and I rented a dune buggy that we used as our means of transportation to get around. So that was, one, just a fun way to get around, and two, it allowed us to see a lot of the island that we would not have seen otherwise. And we didn't go into the trip planning to do that. It was, a choice that we made while we were there. And it was one that we were, after the fact, we were both really glad that we had done that, because we felt like we saw a whole lot more than we would have otherwise.
Did you have any COVID protocol that you were nervous about? Did you have to get tested before you could come back or leave the country?
None. In fact, I've talked with a few clients about that this week since I've been back, that I was very pleasantly surprised at how seamless the, basically just crossing lines between countries was. No testing, no vaccine requirements. Customs was relatively simple. I know travel this summer has been a challenge everywhere because there's a lot of people that are doing it. And our trip didn't come without challenges, but that was more just, delays and layovers. It wasn't anything beyond that.
I find it interesting that you chose only to go all that. And how long did you guys go? Was it 10 days?
10 nights.
10 nights. So you went all that way and you just went to one country?
Yep.
I find that interesting. I don't know if I know anyone that's done that, but maybe Italy. Maybe some people just go to Italy and stay there. But I guess Greece has a lot to offer, but it's not that big. And you conquered Greece, Cory. I mean, you saw it all. I don't know. So that
and we really didn't. That's what's so interesting.
Oh, really?
There's a lot of other islands that are more local that we did not get to. I mean, Mykonos and Santorini, frankly, I think are two of the big islands that a lot of people travel to and are two of the well-known islands. But there's at least three others we would have loved to have been able to see.
Wow. So maybe you can go back and just go right back to Greece and just, do you have any, is it Grecian? Do you have any Grecian in your family, or was there a reason that you guys chose Greece?
We've just always wanted to go there. No, I don't have any Grecian in my family, and nor does Cassie, as far as I know. Both of us have the German roots, but yeah, we've always wanted to go there. We're very much, when it comes to traveling and vacations, we're very much beach people and like to, just kind of chill out and relax. And we were able to do that on the islands, but always, of course, just sprinkle in some activity. But
what about
we don't
the
really
food? Tell me about the food. What was the food like? Did you have good pita bread?
The food was amazing. Everywhere. I would have thought maybe after 10 nights I'd be tired of the Mediterranean cuisine, but that was not the case. The food was amazing everywhere.
Did you have a favorite? I always like to ask Rachel, like, if she had a favorite food while we were on vacation. What was your favorite dish?
Yes, I have a very defined one. There was one evening that we had dinner, actually at the hotel that we stayed in on Mykonos, and I had sole, the white fish, and
Yeah,
they
it's good.
actually, they cook the fish, they bring it out to the table whole, and then basically would fillet the fish right there, and you'd have
Yeah.
the fresh fillet. And we had a lot of good meals, but that one stood above the rest.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, good. Well, thank you for sharing. I'm glad you guys had a safe trip, and we're glad that you're back in Kansas City. I just got back from Utah. We went out to Park City, which have you ever been to Utah?
I've only laid over through the Salt Lake City airport.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Park City is legit. I mean, I'm not a skier, so it's, we went basically the end of summer, but we did some hiking. We stayed at a really nice resort. It's just an outdoor mecca. I mean, if you like to ski and you like the outdoors, like that's the place to be. I mean, you've got beautiful mountains, tons to do outdoor. The weather is phenomenal. Park City is pretty cool. I think there's only 9,000 people that live in that city, which is crazy to me because I'm sure it's a huge tourist destination. So I bet that town can swell and get out of control. They got a main street, which is really cool. Kind of reminded me of a nicer, calmer 6th Street from Austin, but not with like, so there wasn't all these raging bars or anything. It was like they had like 30 art galleries, which was, you wouldn't think that, we didn't know the art scene in Park City is pretty solid. So we went to a bunch of galleries, cool little shops, and then some restaurants. I'm sure there were some bars, but that's not what we were really there to do. So we checked out some art galleries, had a really, really cool dinner, like on the 2nd level of Main Street. And then they opened up the patio, which we were on, and you could see the mountain. And it was just like, it was perfect. They had a little band playing. So it was cool. It was a good trip. I highly recommend Park City. Again, I'm not a skier, but I heard the skiing's phenomenal there. To anyone going in there. But anyways, I wanted to get the fun stuff out of the way because I know you and I both been busy traveling, and we don't normally do that. So it was good that both of us were able to get away with our wives and check out some other places of the earth. But today I want to talk about probably one of the most important questions that we ask all of our clients, and it's, why is money important to you? Right? Because again, our purpose at Falcon Wealth Advisors is to enhance financial literacy and ultimately explain to clients what their financial plan means to them. And it all boils down to what money means to them. Because again, money is important to me for my reason. And so my financial plan aligns with what is important to me, which makes common sense. But I think a lot of advisors miss this. I think a lot of clients don't think about it until we ask them. And so today, what I wanted to do, without giving any names away, is I wanted to share some of our common responses. And I wanted to get our Upticks audience thinking about this, if they haven't been asked that question, to start thinking about that way. Because if you start to line up your goals, your retirement, your financial plan with what is important to you, it's much more satisfying and easier to kind of go through life as it pertains to your relationship with money, versus getting stressed out about the market being down or inflation being high or recessions or wars, right? That stuff doesn't bother you as much as if everything is aligned. And that's what I'm trying to get to with all of our clients that we meet with. Do you have anything you want to add, Cory, before we start going into it?
No, that's really good. Let's get into it.
All right. So what I find interesting is when I ask this question, and you ask the same question to your clients, is that a lot of them default to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so that's how we've categorized these. And it's this pyramid, right? In a pyramid? Is it?
It is.
Yeah. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so we want to start with that base level. I don't know if you still have it pulled up for you, but do you know what the base level is of Maslow's hierarchy?
Yes, the base level is physiological needs.
Right. And so when we ask our clients, why is money important to you? And I've got it pulled up over here. These are some of the common answers. So necessities, survival, shelter, and to pay my bills, like my electric bill, my water bill, right? My sewer bill, right? So again, that's fundamental. And there's nothing wrong with that answer, right? So if a client says, hey, Jake, the reason I save money, have money, want to spend money is so that I can put clothes on my body, shelter, right? Take care of those base level of Maslow's hierarchy needs, right? I will sometimes challenge clients to go deeper because I want to hear more, just because I'm interested and I'm curious about this question. But I think that's good. I think it's fundamental. I think it makes a lot of sense. Do you have any comments from when you ask this question with clients?
Well, I have a question about this. I mean, I'm curious your opinion on this, Jake. Inherently, wouldn't those physiological needs make money important to everyone? Like, isn't that going to be the case for virtually anyone? Like, money is important because it provides a roof over your head. It provides a meal on the table. It provides the ability to pay the bills.
Yes. I think for some people, though, that carries more weight. And for some people, it's obvious, like you just said. I think to you, that might be obvious, but to some people, maybe that's it. Maybe that is their hierarchy, right? And that's maybe with a couple of things sprinkled on top, they're good, right? But for many clients, it's much more than that, right? So that's why we ask, right? Because you're right. I don't think there's any right or wrong answer to this question, but some people, I think you're right. It's fundamental, and that's that physiological need, right? As humans, we want shelter. That's how we were able to evolve. And so, but to some people, I think that it just carries more weight. Good point.
Yeah, that's valid. And a lot of it probably has to do with someone's upbringing and what they've had or haven't had in their lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good. Do you have the levels pulled up still?
Yep, I've got them right here. So we talked about physiological needs at the base. The next level on the pyramid that's a bit more narrow is safety needs.
Good. And so some of our common safety needs answers to why is money important to you is maintain their lifestyle, security, live comfortably, become debt-free, a means to an end, stability. And this one, I haven't heard that. This must be from one of your clients, the ticket to the ride.
I really like that one.
Can you explain that one? Because I'm sure some client told that to you live, obviously. So what do they mean by that?
Yeah, so the ticket to the ride is that, money is what is required in order to ride the ride of life, in the sense of, the things that are important to you, which is going to vary from person to person. But, without money, without that ticket, you're not going to be able to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's my interpretation, at least. Maybe I need to drill down more next time.
No, I like it. I like it though, but that's good. So again, in this group, right, on this next level, maintaining your lifestyle, I think is really big. And that's when I'm meeting with a new client, that's if they don't know, and most of our clients, by the way, don't have a budget. But if they don't know how much they need to live off of when they initially meet with us, I will tell them, let's just make sure that you're taking home the same amount of money that you're taking home today while you're working. And that's maintaining your lifestyle. So if someone's netting $8,000 a month now, from income, I want to make sure that they can net $8,000 a month in retirement. All right. Now, if they have credit card debt or other things, they may need to net a little bit more to pay some of that stuff off. So those are some of the flags that we look for. But again, on this next level of Maslow's, it's really not only just having food and shelter, but it's being able to live a comfortable life. And I think that's probably pretty popular, this level, right? I think, like you said, maybe some of that stuff is obvious to some of our clients, but a lot of them say, live comfortably. Security is a big one that I hear a lot of.
Yep.
Stability, debt-free. So again, those are good ones. And again, the safety needs. So again, these are all common questions of why is money important to you. So let's go up on that ladder. I hate the word pyramid. It sounds so sketchy.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Finance pyramid is a bad word. It's a bad word.
Yeah, let's use a different word.
We're going to rename Maslow's hierarchy, Cory, today in front of millions of people. We're going to change it to the ladder. I like a ladder.
I guess he called it a hierarchy, not a pyramid, right?
But why do they put in? I guess because there's less things at the top.
Yeah.
But that doesn't have to be. Anyway, so let's call it a ladder or a hierarchy. No more pyramid.
Deal.
Sketchy name. Well, all right,
Deal.
what's next on the ladder?
What we have next after safety needs, the next rung on the ladder is love and belonging.
Interesting. So under the love and belonging category, we have be taken care of, experiences with their family, memories, take care of their kids, help others out, being together, or volunteering. So again, money's important to them, so they don't have to work, so they can volunteer their time. They don't have to earn a paycheck. A lot of clients want to make sure that their spouse is taken care of, right? So if something happens to them, they just want to know that their spouse isn't going to have to worry about money. That's big. That's love and belonging. Experiences, right? So Greece for you, right? I'm sure that wasn't cheap. I'm not going to ask you how much you spent.
It was not cheap.
I was going over how much Rachel and I spent to Utah last night. And I was like, wow, we spent a lot. And again, we don't go on many trips, so we thought it was worth it, but it was a lot of money
Sure.
to go out there. It's not cheap. But again, it was experiences for us, memories, obviously, take care of kids, very important. That's, and then helping others out, right? Through that, maybe that's charitable, right? Or family members that need it, and just being together. I like that one, being together. That's why money's important to them, so that they can be together. It's tough. Some people work all the time, like 12-hour days, or, and they don't get to be around their family. And now that they have money, whether they like it or not, they're now around their family, right? And so that's that love and relationship piece, that rung on the ladder, that I think is very important. I think it's very important for humans. It's been proven out there that community leads to a healthier life, right? And I don't think we're built. I mean, some people, I guess, can get away with it, but generally speaking, I think humans are built to be in a community or a tribe, not isolated. Do you have any thoughts on this rung in the ladder, love and relationships, and why money is important to you?
No, I think that the answers that we've talked about here, some of the responses that we've gotten from clients, this and safety needs are very much, the prior rung on the ladder that we just talked about, are very much where most of the answers that I feel that I get from people are coming from. They fall somewhere on those two rungs. And maybe we can save this for when we're done going through the hierarchy, Jake, but I just wanted to ask you a question about, where do you think it is that, where on this hierarchy do people get led astray and away from these things, which we can come back to. But I think that's at least we're talking about on the subject of where we're at right now.
Oh, that's really good. I'm glad you brought it up, because we only have 2 more rungs to go. So I think people deviate or get off when they worry about maybe their neighbor's return, right? Well, my next door neighbor said they're making 30%. How come I'm not doing that? Well, they're probably not telling you the truth. Not to call your neighbor a liar, but a lot of people,
Yeah.
a lot of people love to talk about when they make money, but they don't talk about when they lose money. And then B, again, your financial plan is about you and what's important to you and why money is important to you. And so that's how we invest that money. So I think they get caught up, they get off track when they compare, or when they let the media scare them, or make them greedy, right? Well, cryptocurrency has done this, blah, blah, blah. Well, that again, that investing in cryptocurrency, more than likely for our clients at least, doesn't make their financial plan line up with why money's important to them, right? So they get caught up in speculating, fear of the media, because that's what the media gets paid to do, about recessions and wars. And they got to remember that, hey, we got this money diversified and invested in a way that's aligned with why is money important to you, so that it's going to fulfill that hierarchy of needs for you, right? And so I think that's the 2 biggest things. Do you have any, so comparing or getting caught up in the news? Do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I think as a complement to what you just pointed out, I think that people, it's not difficult to imagine or understand why people can lose sight of it, because people work for 30 or 40 years and they save money. And I think some people probably fall into the trap of, they begin to identify with how much money they have or don't have, and their worth as a person is tied directly to that. But I also think that it's not difficult to understand why people just lose sight of, why they are saving and accumulating and making sacrifices, frankly, along the way, because every dollar saved is a dollar that you're sacrificing, spending right now. I think that people can just lose sight of why they're doing that, because somebody makes a transition into retirement. They're at the point in their life where their financial plan and everything else dictates it's time for them to go and spend some of the money on the things that they want to do. And they really struggle with that because they're tied so closely to how much money they have. And I guess my point is, I don't think when anybody first starts making contributions to a 401k plan, they do so solely for the purpose of accumulating as large of a number as possible by the end of their life. I think they do that so they can eventually retire and maintain their lifestyle and, create memories, take care of their families, everything that we're talking about here. But it's almost like if people don't spend enough time thinking about why money is important to them, it's going to, because their financial values and principles are not aligned with their personal values and principles, that frankly, it just creates a lack of congruency and internal conflicts. And that's why people get scared about what happens in the media, or what the media tells people is happening, what's going on with inflation, market returns, et cetera. It's just a lack of alignment in a way.
Right. No, that's really good. And I'm glad you shared that. And another point I wanted to make real quick is that also, and this is why every time I meet with a client, when we sit down, I check in with them, because I don't want them to feel like they're locked into this either. Like, what's important to you today? Because you brought up how when someone starts a 401k, when you start your 401k in your 20s or your 30s, your hierarchy of needs are far different than they are in your 50s and 60s. I would imagine they are, maybe not always, but so it's okay for these to change. And that's the beauty of meeting with us at Falcon Wealth Advisors, is that as your life changes and your needs and wants and wishes change, we're going to adjust that financial plan. So again, we want to check in on these. Why is money important to you? We ask that almost every time we meet with clients, unless they've got something specific they want to talk about. But I like to bring it up often because I want to check in and say, hey, is your plan aligned with what's important to you? That's good, though. That's good that you brought that up. So let's go up to the next rung here. What's the second from the top rung here?
Yes. So after love and belonging that we just talked about, next is esteem.
Esteem, right? So on this, we have be happy, freedom, able to travel, stress-free, staying retired, independence, not be a burden, and retire early. So again, this is good. This is self-esteem, right? This is confidence, I think of, right? Ultimately, money's important to them so they can be happy and go do the things that they lose, maybe diminish or lose that insecurity that comes with money for a lot of people. Freedom to do what they want, I think, is important. Travel, right? It's big. It's not cheap to travel. We know that. Stress-free. I think money doesn't make you happy, but having it can make your life less stressful, right? So that's important to remember too. Just because someone has $10 million doesn't mean they're going to have a happy life. But if you leverage it and use it correctly, it can definitely take away some stress. Staying retired, that's good. We don't want anyone to have to go back to work. Certainly, if people want to go back to work, that's something different than having to do it. Independence, right? Financial independence, that's big. Well, we also call that work optional. Not being a burden on their family, and then of course retiring in their 50s or 40s, right? Retiring early. Good. Let's go up. Do you have anything to add there before we go up to the next rung?
I do not.
All right. So the top of that hierarchy. What do you got here? What's the top?
Self-actualization.
Right, which is a tough one, right? This is almost maybe being awakened, right, on the hierarchy. So again, this one is maximizing time, providing a legacy, opportunities to maybe take advantage of some things that they wouldn't have otherwise, to keep improving. I like that one. I don't know if that's one of mine or yours. Lifestyle options, and exploring different cultures. I thought that's a good one. Are these do you remember who? I know we have hundreds of clients, but I don't know if you remember.
Not off the top of my head.
But these are good ones.
I remember a few of them, but not, interestingly, not, some of these ones that are more unique, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Which you think we would.
I know.
So shame on us. But again,
maybe it's because we only hear them once.
Yeah, and we have 700 clients. So it's kind of a lot to keep track of in our head.
Sure.
But exploring different cultures, I love that. It is self-actualization, understanding that we are different and we grew up and were raised in a certain society and norms and traditions. But you go to Greece, or you go to Africa, or you go to Asia, or Europe, wherever, and getting to experience other cultures. I like having lifestyle options, right? To be able to maybe buy that second or third home. Keep improving, right? Whatever that means to that person, that could mean a ton of things. Opportunities, again, providing a legacy, right? A lot of our clients will have a true legacy where their assets will not only pass on to their children, but they'll pass on to their grandchildren and maybe even their great-grandchildren. And that's pretty awesome to see that. Again, if that's important to them, a lot of our clients will say, I want my last check to bounce. And that's fine too, right? So there's no shame in either of those. But some clients, that's important, that they said, hey, I've worked hard, or maybe they inherited a big sum of money and they want to keep that legacy going in their family. And then again, maximize time. I think that's obviously a big one too. That's probably actually mine, and I want to hear yours. But I know we're wrapping up the show here, but mine, why money is important to me, is to leverage time, to get to do things that I enjoy or where I feel like I have a bigger impact. For example, I grew up mowing my yard. My dad likes to do it too, so I didn't do it all the time. Or maybe he was just being nice to me. But did you mow your own yard?
Oh, yeah.
Now, you had a brother, so that's pretty easy, right? Maybe you guys, I don't think my sister mowed our lawn much. I don't think she did. But anyways, I mowed the yard, and I didn't mind it. I actually like it. I love the smell of fresh cut grass, believe it or not. That's one of my favorite smells is fresh cut grass. But now, that I work a lot and I like to play golf, and I'm married. It's not just me. I don't mow my yard anymore. And it's not because I'm lazy or don't necessarily don't want to do it. It's because I choose for that time to do something else. So whether that's meeting with clients, later, so that, I could leave work at, 4:30, like a lot of people, and go mow my yard, but many times I'm in the office longer meeting with clients. And I like doing that. And I think that's more productive use of my time. I'm probably not very good at mowing the yard anyways. So, and I've got a great your lawn guy, and he's awesome, and he's pretty cheap. And they come and knock it out on Fridays. So every weekend I've got fresh cut grass to smell. And so that again, that's one of the things I choose. Now, some people may disagree and say, I love cutting my grass, and that's fine, right? That may be meditative for you or exercise for you. I just choose to get those things in different ways, right? I choose to meditate on my own or get exercise through playing golf or other things. So anyways, that's why money is important to me, though. I like to use it to leverage my time. So I pay the long guy, but instead I may work longer, or I may spend time with my wife, right? Or take her out to dinner or go play golf, right? What about you, Cory? Why is money important to you?
Of course, you know that I was going to almost have to give you the same answer.
Really?
But, yes. And I was thinking while you've been talking here, Jake, and listening, of course, but I was thinking about how it does make a lot of sense given the fact that we do the same thing.
True.
That just inherently, I think about it the same way, right? And you just made the point of you could leave work at 4:30 and go home and cut the lawn, or you could be in the office at 4:30 meeting with clients. And it just begs the question of where are you, Jake, going to have more impact on the world or on society? And if that's what's important to you, it's probably here at the office, right? Meeting with that client. And I think that's okay. And I feel the same way in that, having, there was, I think it was in The Psychology of Money, a book that we both read. And actually, I think we sent out to clients, where somebody had a quote that was, what is wealth, or what is independence? And a real short answer was no mortgage and no alarm clock. And I always, I've always thought about that, and I've kind of, chuckled to myself about it, but it's really true. And I think the point there is, not being saddled by debt, not owing anything to anyone, not working and earning dollars for someone else, theoretically. And then also, not having that stress, and then being able to do what you want to do on your time. And I think that has always resonated with me. I'm sure probably the same way it does for you, in that money can't buy happiness. But frankly, money can buy you time, right? Because you could be spending that time cutting the grass, or you could make the choice to pay someone to do it. And I've thought about it the same way, that because we both work a lot and both love what we do, but I want to be very selective about how I spend the time that I have outside of the office. And I want to do the things that are important to me. And if it means that I need to spend money to pay someone to mow the lawn, I'm happy and willing to do that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Makes a lot of sense. So, so thank you again. Thank you, Cory, for joining me on the show. We're going to wrap up here. We got a team meeting here in a few minutes, but so we want to hear why money is important to you. So again, if you want to comment, send me an email. If you're a client, I'm sure I've asked you. We've talked about it. If we haven't, it's coming. We're going to keep asking this question. But I really challenge our audience to think about this, write it down, share it with your spouse or your loved ones, edit it, and then make sure that your money is lined up to what's important to you. Now, it seems so obvious the way we say this, but I'll tell you, a lot of new clients coming in, I don't know if they've ever been asked that question by their advisor or ever thought about it on their own. And so I think it's very important, though, because again, we could have two clients, Cory, with the same amount of money, work at the same place. One values, providing a legacy, and one really wants to have experiences and spend their money. And, their financial plans and their budgeting and their allocation and their investments will look different. And that's okay, right? Because again, it's about them and it's about their financial plan and why money is important to you, right? And so that's what we want to get down to. That's what we really drill down at Falcon Wealth Advisors. And we want to make sure that our clients are comfortable with that. They understand that. There's confidence there. And that we're helping be a guide to help them make smart decisions and answer their questions along the way.
Jake, if you don't mind, this will take me less than 60 seconds. Can I read something here that I want to share?
Let's hear it. Go ahead,
think it's
Cory.
Connected to. So I just saw this yesterday. This is an email in 2010 that Steve Jobs sent to himself, that his wife actually, made public. And the email that Steve Jobs sent to himself said, "I grow little of the food that I eat, And of the little I do grow, I do not breed or perfect the seeds. I do not make any of my own clothing. I speak a language I did not invent or refine. I did not discover the mathematics I use. I am protected by freedoms and laws I did not conceive of or legislate, and do not enforce or justify. I am moved by music I did not create myself. When I needed medical attention, I was helpless to help myself survive. I did not invent the transistor, the microprocessor, object-oriented programming, or most of the technology I work with. I love and admire my species, living and dead, and I am totally dependent on them for my life and well-being. And I thought that was really interesting because earlier you talked about the sense of community, and this is obviously somebody that had, more money than anybody presumably needs to have, but very much had the perspective of, I am a human being here on this planet, and a sense of community and people around me, and understanding what's important to me is critical, and that we're all dependent upon others.
Interesting. Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Cory. It's interesting. All right.
Okay.
Good. Thank you for sharing. Thank you all for tuning in and listening. Oh, I forgot to put this in the beginning. Subscribe, like, share our content. If you're not subscribed, shame on you. Subscribe so that you don't miss another episode of Upticks. Cory, thank you again for joining me on the show. It's all the time that we do have for you today. We hope you have a great week.
Thank you for listening to Upticks. Click the subscribe button to be notified when new episodes become available. Also, be sure to visit our website, falconwealthadvisors.com, and click the Contact Us button if you'd like to meet with Jake and his team.